Hello students, in this part we will discuss on proteins, biomolecule of proteins. Proteins. Protein was firstly molecular formula was proposed by Mulder. Molecular structure of protein proposed by Mulder, but the name protein which was proposed by Berzelius. Berzelius. Protein term was proposed by Berzelius, but the in experimental formula structure was proposed by Muller. What are proteins? Proteins are a big chain of polypeptide. Proteins are big chain or long chain of polypeptide. As we had discussed in the previous part, peptide bond which formed between the one amine group and other one is carboxyketose group. So what are proteins? Proteins are big chain of polypeptide. अब पॉलीपेप्टाइड जो बॉन्ड होते हैं, पॉलीपेप्टाइड जो चेन होती हैं, मे बी वन टाइप की हो सकती हैं या टू और मोर टाइप्स की हो सकती हैं. इट मीन्स on the basis of polypeptide chain there are two types of protein. Types of protein types of protein on the basis of polypeptide chain. There are two types of protein on the basis of polypeptide chain. These two are, if one type of polypeptide chain present in amino group, then that is called monomeric. Monomeric polypeptide protein. It means this type of protein contains only one type of polypeptide. That is called monomeric polypeptide protein. For example, lysozyme and myoglobin. These are the proteins which may contain only one type of polypeptide chain or polypeptide protein. So these are called monomeric polypeptide proteins. Another type of protein is if the protein contains different types of polypeptide chain. That is called multiple or multi polypeptide protein. Multi or multiple polypeptide protein. If the protein contains different types of polypeptide, that is called multi-polypeptide protein or multiple polypeptide protein. For example, hemoglobin. Hemoglobin may contains different type of chain. Hemoglobin contains two alpha chain and two beta chain. Two alpha chain and two beta chains, which makes the hemoglobin. One more example is insulin. Insulin, which may contain one A chain, or we can say that alpha chain, and other is B chain, that called beta chain. Insulin contains two chains when it is matured. Then at the stage of mature stage, it contains two chain, but in pro-hormone, which is known as proinsulin, immature stage, it also contains one more chain that is called C chain. C chain present only in proinsulin or pro-hormone. Otherwise, it contains only two chain. One way more different types of protein is that is first class protein. First class protein. First class protein are also known as complete protein. Complete protein. It means where the essential or non-essential, the product in which essential or non-essential both type of proteins are present in excess quantity, that type of protein is called first class protein or complete protein. The product which contain both essential or essential or non-essential proteins in excess quantity, that is called first class protein or complete protein. For example, this type of protein may present in animal product. Animal product may contain first class protein because animal product just like as meat or fish, if the person is non-vegetarian, all the protein requirement can be fulfilled by the meat or fish. So this is called first class protein. One more type of protein is second class protein. This is also called incomplete protein. Incomplete protein. It means the product contains protein but in less quantity or lack of some essential non-essential protein. The product which contain lack quantity of essential or non-essential protein. It means the product may contain protein but in less quantity. That type of protein is called second class protein or incomplete protein. This, for example, vegetarian, or you can say the vegetative product, or as well as we can say that plant product. Plant product may contain protein but not as compared to the first class protein. So the person who is non-vegetarian, that may contain only one type, one from one product, all types of protein. But if the person is only vegetarian, then this person has to take some extra protein from the external source. So these are the different types of protein. Now, structure. What is the structure of protein? On the basis of structure of protein, there are different types of protein. Maybe we can say that four types: primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structures. On the basis of structure, we can categorize the proteins following types. Following types. First one, take the example of primary structure. Primary structure of protein. As we know that Protein is a long chain or big chain of polypeptide amino acid. If all the amino acid contain only one type of bond, then that is called primary protein. If the protein contains only one type of bond, and that bond is peptide bond. Which one? Peptide bond between the amino acid. If the protein we know that protein contains many long chain of amino acid, which is bonded with peptide bond, hydrogen bond, sulfide, disulfide bond, as well as ionic bond. But the protein which contain only one type of bond, and that is only peptide bond between the amino acid. For example, the amino acid, these are the amino acid, a long chain of amino acid, and so on. If all the amino acid are bonded with each other only one type of bond, and that bond is peptide bond. This type of protein is called primary protein. Primary protein. So we can say that in primary protein only one type of bond is present, and that is peptide bond. For example, these all primary proteins are non-functional. Exception 1. All primary proteins are non-functional. But one exceptional primary protein is insulin. Insulin that is functional. Other than insulin, all primary proteins are non-functional. And second protein is secondary structure protein or secondary structure. Secondary structure protein. This type of protein may present, or we can say that this type of protein contains peptide bond as well as hydrogen bond, because due to the presence of hydrogen bond, the amino acid come closer to each other. They may be present only single chain or double chain. The protein which contain peptide bond or hydrogen bond, or we can say that and hydrogen bond. Due to the presence of hydrogen bond, the amino acid come closer to each other. For example, this is the long chain of polypeptide or amino acid which contain the protein. There is amino acid present here. These are the amino acid which present the long chain of polypeptide bond. This is a polypeptide, simple polypeptide, or we can say that primary protein. This is the linear. All primary structure of protein form linear structure. But here is also present amino acid. If this amino acid bonded with each other with hydrogen bond. Due to the presence of hydrogen bond, this amino acid come closer to this one. This type of protein is called secondary structure of protein. This is present in, this is also known as alpha helix structure. Alpha helix structure. And this is present in keratin. Keratin protein found in nails, hairs, horns. Nails, hairs, and horn. If this is present in one chain, but peptide bond and hydrogen bond may be found in double chain. Such one, this is the one chain and this is the another chain of polypeptide. And here are amino acid present. It single linear is polypeptide, only peptide bond. But when two chains which are attached with hydrogen bond, this type of bond from here, this one is attached this one. If two chains are attached with hydrogen bond, this is the hydrogen bond. This single chain may contain peptide bond, but both the chains when attached with each other, the amino acid come closer to each other. This type structure is known as secondary structure of protein and known as beta peptide. Beta peptide structure. And this is present in silk fiber. Silk fiber. One more type of protein is tertiary structure of protein. Tertiary structure of protein. Third one is tertiary structure of protein. This protein may found peptide bond, many types of bond, peptide bonds, hydrogen bond, disulfide bond if the two sulfur molecules are present, and ionic bonds. And there are three chains are attached with each other. For example, this one, this is the first chain, this is the second chain, and if third chain is also attached with each other. This type of protein is known as tertiary structure of protein. This is the one chain, first chain, second chain, and third chain. If the protein contains three chains in which the different functional group attached the, or we can attach with each other to close the amino acid, or we can say to closer the amino acid each other with specific substrate. These specific substrate may attach the different function groups. Suppose this chain here contains alcoholic group and this may contains here amino group. Both the functional group, different functional groups are attached with special substrate, and these special substrate attached with the specific site, and this site is known as a active site. Active site. So we can say that tertiary protein show different specific function and they are found in enzyme. The structure is form an enzyme. We can say the tertiary protein structure, tertiary structure present in enzymes. They only perform specific function, specific function, because they show different specific site where the specific substrate are attached with the two different functional groups. Suppose one chain contain alcoholic group and another one is amine group. Both the different function groups are attached with each other with a specific substrate so that they can perform specific function, and the site is known as active site. This type of protein contains different bond. One is peptide bond, other is second one is hydrogen bond, third one is ionic bond, and fourth one, if the two site may contains sulfur molecules, both the sulfur molecules are attached with each other, that is disulfide bond, disulfide bond. So we have seen that in primary structure it contains only one single peptide bond. Secondary structure it contains two bond, one peptide, another one is hydrogen. And tertiary structure it contains one peptide bond, one hydrogen bond, one ionic bond, and one disulfide bond. The next structure is quaternary structure. Quaternary structure of protein. Fourth one is quaternary structure of protein. This type of protein contains four chain and they are bonded with each other so that they can come closer the amino acid with each other. This type of protein contains four bonded structure or four bonded chain. The example of quaternary structure of protein is globin of hemoglobin. This may contains two alpha chain and two beta chain. Suppose these are the one chain, this is the second chain. If both the chains are attached with each other, another chain, it may contain two alpha chain and two beta chains. And for all the four bonded chains make the structure this one likes. That structure, that protein is known as quaternary structure, and it may present only in globin, that is part of hemoglobin, because we know that hemoglobin contains two alpha chain and two beta chains. This type of protein also contains special bonds just like this one, peptide bond, second hydrogen bond, disulfide bond, and ionic bond. So we have seen that there are different bonds present in the different structure of protein. Quaternary structure is also perform specific function. Specific function. Clear?